Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to FM22. It's Youth Factory. We're on episode 24. We are ready to kick off the new season. Before we do, though, I want to show you a few stats. I went in and did a little research to see how we stack up now that we're up into the top 3 tiers. We're up into that higher echelon of what's going on. Top 2 divisions each have 16 squads, so 32 teams above us. We are in that first split division where there is 14 and 14s. We have another 28 at the level we are in, and now we can start, not having to look below us or anything like that. We're very much looking to kind of where we're at. So now we're just looking at 60 competitive teams at our level or above. Now, in comparing those 60 teams, here's kind of the breakdown of what we are working with. Now, the first division of the 2 divisions at our level has a lot more independent clubs. In fact, there's only 2 second squads. Rosenborg and Viking have a second squad at this level. My division is much more the second squad division. Why? I have no idea, but that is the case. Here we only find 4 independent squads, with ours being one of them. Of those 16 independent squads out of the 28 that are here, all 16 are semi-professional. So we at least have that in common with all the other teams around us. At least the independent squads, the first tier squads. However, out of 16 independent squads, 15 of them have a second squad or more. Now, at our tier, I don't think any of them have beyond a third squad. I don't think any of them have an amateur squad that they have as well, like we've seen on a handful of occasions. Actually, no, there is one. Hossein is somebody we've seen with an amateur squad, but I don't think they had a third squad. They had their senior squad, a second squad, and then an amateur squad, instead of the first, second, third, and then amateur. Either way, we're looking at 1 or 2 additional teams for all of them, with the only exception being us. We are the only team that has just a senior squad and just a U19 squad, and nothing in addition to that. And I have not, to this point, seen anywhere where I could properly request to get us a second squad, because I can already tell you we need it. We absolutely need it. We are putting enough players out of the U18s now into a senior squad that doesn't have space for them. And I would love to see them into a second squad to try to train, to try to get some experience to come. Even if that second squad was forced to play in a significantly lower division starting out, even if it was the bottom tier, seeing them climb that ladder would be pretty cool. But anyway, there's our first serious disadvantage, is we are the only club at this level and above that does not have a secondary senior squad. Now, as we climb to the second tier, this is where things start to get interesting, because, like I said, all of these clubs have secondary squads, and in the case of the Oberliga, the second tier, they all have second squads playing fairly high up. They have secondary squads playing in some cases the 3rd division, or in virtually all other cases playing in the 4th division. So just 2 tiers below where these clubs are. There is only 2 exceptions to that, and they both have their second squad playing in the 5th division. That's Grorud and Jerv. Now, those 2 are interesting, as I tried to break it down a little bit more for comparison's sake to what they would be like compared to us. Well, Jerv, they have 25 in their senior squad, and then they have 40 at that second tier. So they have a very bloated squad. They need a third team. And all the others that I checked at this level and above do seem to have 3, with that one exception. Grorud is one of those exceptions. They have 4 total squads. They have 24 in the senior level and 49 spread amongst the other 3 squads. So they have smaller squads, but overall a larger accumulation of players, and that's what gives you the breakdown. Now, here There's 11 independent squads, and of those 11, 6 of them are pro teams. So there's only 5 semi-pro teams at this level. But this is also the first place that we see professional squads in Norway. There are no professional squads below the 2nd tier. Now, we haven't seen an amateur club since the 4th tier. I think we had one team in our division that was amateur. Otherwise, everybody was semi-pro. This is where we start to get that transition from semi-pro to pro. All the way up in the 2nd tier. Surprising, but okay, it is the case. And finally, we take a brief look at the elite Syrian. Now, all 16 are obviously the senior squads. There's no number 2 squads here. But all 16 are professional. So you can see the transition is the 2nd tier. But if you are going to play in the top tier, you are going to be a professional squad. So that much stands out. And of course, all of them have multiple squads below them filling out their placements for their players to get some experience. So you see very little in terms of loans happening in Norway, and we've already recognized that. We've already seen that. We're one of the only teams loaning players, and now we know why. Virtually every single club, at least at the higher levels, it is every single club has multiple squads, and therefore, where do you go to gain experience? You play down in your 2nd or 3rd squad, which is what we've seen with the players we have sold. Players we have sold, we're playing on those 2nd squads or 3rd squads to get experience, to get development, to earn their way onto the main squad. So it happens in-house, it happens internally, it happens with your team playing at whatever level their 2nd or 3rd tier squads play at. So with that revealing information, we are ready to kick off our season as a relegation favorite. Now, of course, last season, we were a relegation maybe, and then we won the league. This year, we're a relegation favorite. There's a pretty big difference between those two things. You're on the edge of relegation versus a lot of people pick you to go down. What I think that means is we're definitely not going to be competing for a win, a league win, that is. I don't think we're going to be that good. That's surprising. But let's draw comparisons one more time to see if that's actually the case. I think realistically what we're looking at is probably fighting mid-table and not being the relegation favorite that they place us as, but really being stuck mid-table until we can get some development to push on to the next tier. Our senior squad average age is still under the age of 20, even though we have definitely gotten older. Obviously, every season the average age of our roster goes up by probably 0.8, 0.9 because, that whole group gets a year older, and then we just get that intake coming in that contributes to keeping it down a little bit, but, just adds to what we have. So every year we get about 3/4 to maybe 0.8 of a year older as a group, and yet still we haven't eclipsed 20 yet. I mean, that's pretty crazy to think this many seasons in that we're still that young as a group. Anyway, average height, we're a little short. Average weight, we're definitely a little small. No international caps. We have some youth caps, but it's still 0 as the average. Average salary, we were absolutely the smallest, and same with transfer value for players. Decision making, definitely not the lowest in the league, but nowhere near the average. First touch, passing, all the same. We are the lowest in the league when it comes to strength. But last season, where we were very much just average, this season you can see we're very much below average for the most part. In fact, at least here in the summary of all positions, there's only 2 areas that we're even above average, and there's only 2 areas where we're even almost average. So unlike last year's comparison, having the low strength rating, just a hair under 7, where the average is 8.5, and Flora is 10.25, or nowhere near compared to the other teams, and we're going to really, really struggle in that department, in a strength department, which means battling for headers a lot of the time, or at least battling for position on set pieces. So don't look for us to get too many goals, and look for us to give up a fair too many. Now, of course, goalkeepers, it's not fair to look at your entire roster and see how they are. It's a lot better to look at your actual goalkeepers and see how they compare. Well, when we go just goalkeepers around the league, the agility's okay. Throwing 1v1, worst in the league. Handling, worst in the league. Kicking, nearly worst in the league. But we do still have excellent reflexes. Aerial ability is above average at the least, and command of area is okay. That combination means we'll stop some shots, but we'll certainly have some areas that we struggle. As we now look at defenders, you can see why we're going to, again, struggle a bit this season, but not be quite as bad as I think they're placing us to be. I think we'll overcome the relegation fight. But anyway, you can see 4 categories among defenders where we are slightly above average, and 4 where we are well below average, including pace, where we are the slowest in the league. Now, when you look just at midfield, you see how we'll be probably okay. Teamwork, highest in the league. Tackling, certainly better than average, but only about halfway up from worst to best. But all those other categories are a little to a lot below average. But nothing is the worst here. And for that reason, I think our play style, our midfield's going to do okay this season. I think we should still be able to get around 50% possession. It's just going to drop off a lot from where we were. Our seasons of 58, 59, 60% being the regular standard that this team is able to get in terms of possession. I think we're dropping at least 5 to 8% this season, and maybe more. Hopefully we'll still have the ball at least half the time. And in the attack is another area where we're going to almost come out even. You can see our finishing is better than league average, but nowhere near the top. Long shots, slightly better than average. Anticipation is exactly average, and pace, they're a little faster. And that could help. That could help a little bit. That's still not great pace. But anyway, the other pieces, all below average, but not crazy below. But the average is all fairly close to each other. You know, the bottom of the league isn't that much far below where the average marker is for attacking players. Here's where the lack of training facilities has absolutely destroyed progress, because in this game, the most natural area to progress as a young player from 15, after you come through the intake, or 16, right, till you get till about 18 or 19, as in when you're with the youth ranks, the most natural area to progress is physically. And you can see as a whole, we are terrible here. We are literally lowest in the league in 6 out of 8 physicals that are being measured as a whole squad, and we are not even average anywhere. Now we recognize where we do have a serious problem, serious disadvantage, and a real worry on our hands going forward on what to do. Now, better training facilities, better fitness coaches. We could start to see those guys make some progress here, because we're not really seeing it. There's very, very few players that have progressed with their physical attributes. You can see mentally we're certainly doing better. A lot of these just are where the players come in at, though. Some of them come in with pretty dang good mental attributes, and overall we're almost average in a number of categories, slightly above in a few, and not far below in a number. And there's really only, I'd say, 3 where we are really quite bad. Anticipation, well below average. And then, of course, the 2 that were lowest, off-ball and composure. Now, while we're very close to bottom in 2 technical categories, crossing and dribbling, we are not last. You can see even in dribbling, there is a team that is just below what we have. So you can see we're just above Flora with a 5.79 dribbling, where Flora has 5.75, so just 0.04 below what we have. But regardless of that, you know, most of the technical attributes, when you take a bit above, a bit below, I think that comes out just about even. We're just about average in this league, technically, mentally. But physically, we're way behind everybody. So now we understand what our weakness is. And when you look at the individual positions, the defense, the midfield, the attacking, we just about make all of that work. We just about play our positions okay. So again, our one great area of weakness is we're behind everybody physically. Outside of that, I'd say we're almost nearly average within this league. And I think when you throw in our tactics, we can make up for the lack of physical prowess that our players have on the pitch compared to the other teams. And I don't think I don't think this is the first season where we're suddenly that much worse. We already saw it last season. Season before was already getting close on that as well, if not already at that point. So I think we should be okay this season. But we know what our weakness is, and we know what needs to happen. When will it happen? How will it happen? How much development can we finally start getting out of this squad? Now, again, I'm going to do two things this season because we already have that permission to boost the training facilities from a 1 to a 3, which is still virtually nothing. It's out of 20. But if it gives us just that little hint of development, then that's what the team needs long term going forward. I'm only doing that if we're not suddenly at the top of the league again. I mean, if we're in the bottom half at all by mid-season, we're gonna do that. We'll take advantage of that. We'll get that +2. It's very minor, but it's something to get development going, especially in those young players, right? Because where are we behind? An area that you're supposed to develop young, and we're just not seeing it. And we're into the season opener. Only one change to our first 11 from a season ago, and it's only temporary. It's only for today's match, as Melvin Jakobsen is out on yellow card accumulation from the end of last season. So that last match, he picked up a yellow, and that was enough to earn a suspension to start the season. It's Itervik who is in for him. Of course, Ace Rod is now gone completely, and we have replaced him on the bench. Also, Jonas Snellingen. I've finally had enough of all of his BS, and I gave him away. Nobody was willing to pay any money for him, and we're already trailing 1-0. Gosh, 30 seconds into the season, and we're already down 1-0. Ouch. Standall, hair and all, just totally manhandled our defense there, and Sabani, who understood what was happening, full-on dive, retreating back, trying to reach the line, couldn't quite cover the line there, and already we trail by 1 with a 0.18 XG already. I mean, ouch. We do have some possession numbers here in the early minutes of this one, so maybe that's a good sign that we will be capable of scoring some goals this season. We are possessing the ball well enough, and Norheim gets his first goal of the season, and we draw level. See, told you, I know that we're going to have some struggles. I understand we're going to have some struggles, but I do not think it is a lost cause. I do not think we're going to be facing a relegation battle. I do think we're going to be having a lot of give and take, like we've already seen here, where it's back and forth, but I still think we're gonna score points. Still inside the first 20 minutes, Kalzi makes it 2. Wow, his first goal of the season from range, not terribly far out, but he finds himself a little bit of space. The same man who was no, not the same man. It was a different defender. But yeah, Kalzi finds a little bit of space, just turns and plays that hard into the back of the net. 3 goals already inside 20 minutes. Is this the kind of season we're in for, where it's going to be a little more wide open? Defensively, we're going to be a little more vulnerable. Lovas nearly makes that 3, but I also think he was called offside on that play. This first match is against Start. This is their second squad. They are one of the, their senior squad is one of the top flight teams that we are up against, as Lavas nearly gets that one in. So a really nice cross to not go out of bounds there from Al. And Lavas gets there, but the keeper smothered it really well, had nowhere to go, coming off his body. Al inside, tripped, No call. Wow. Whew, that was controversial. As he was clearly past his man, well past his man, and that wasn't a full sliding tackle or anything. As Severetti, offside. Offside here before halftime. But yeah, Al was tripped, and there seemed to be no play on the ball. Severetti was definitely offside. That was the correct call on that one. But the one before that, maybe, should have been a penalty. But as I'm not a fan of penalties, I don't mind that it is not called on that occasion. Just keep that one in mind. When we do get called for one, I'll be upset. Lavas lays it off for Osby, who does not get clean contact on that one and blasts that way too high. But even though we struggled very early on in this one, and these guys are obviously very, very capable of scoring against us, we've done quite well. Shots are 5-1. Shots on target are 4-1 at this stage. Bergam through Lavas. There is a third. Lavas with his first goal of the season, and it's 3-1 before half. Wow. It's a glutton for goals in this one. Bergam. Great run from Lavas and Bergam. That's too easy. Very well placed there. Bottom corner. Doesn't require a lot of power, just placement. I find that with indoor even. You know, the goal is not big. It's a very small goal, right? It's so much easier for keepers to get over, but a lot of the shots tend to be quite a bit closer because of that, right? Al, nice, almost into the upper corner, not quite well placed enough. Therefore, the keeper able to grab that one, hang on to it, and wow, look at that, the XG. That was it. Their one shot was their one shot. 30 seconds into the half. That was just a terrible start from us. After that, we responded ridiculously well. You know, we don't even have one in the XG department. 6 shots on target, 3 goals. That's crazy good. And we had one ruled out. We had the one that, you know, arguably could have been a penalty. All right. Players, very, very happy. Fatigue, Norheim, really the only one who is a bit tired, but he's playing well. He's got a goal, and he's not that tired yet. But he is now on a yellow here in the last few minutes, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. I do not think he's going to go the distance. Wow, that was scary close. That was a very last-second decision from Sabani. If he would have came off his line immediately, he's going to get to that ball in plenty of time. And of course, where the ball was, it was in the box, so he would have been able to hang on to it. No offside, no flag on that one. Could have been correct, I don't know. Okay, things have changed here in the second half, including that it's already the 70th minute. Norheim, let's go ahead and make that substitution. Let's not get you in trouble with that yellow. Probably Bergfossum or Pena. Bergfossum. That's his role. Pena, he's more of a center mid. Gillo, the only one who's not doing great today. 6.9 is not a terrible rating, though. Osby finds Lavas. There's the Bergfossum was making a really nice run, but we didn't make... Oh, no, the sub was just completed, so that was actually still Norheim making a really good run there. Severetti a bit tired, but he's hanging in there. Calzi is tired. Let's bring on Pena. 83rd minute. As soon as I get a chance, I am going to start the time wasting and adjust our tactics a little bit. But at the moment, anyway, we are looking good here in the opener. Lavas through. Another chance. I think I needed one more touch. I think I needed to take the chance and take one more touch. Because the keeper was already committing. Take one more touch either way, either direction, to try to push past the keeper a little bit. I know you've got a defender there, but if you make the right move, you beat them both. Fuoli. Pena. 4-1. Hell yeah. Okay, just a little time wasting is all that's going to be necessary. We're not even going to mess with the tactics. Let's mess with trying to get somebody in who could use it. Boyum is somebody that I never call on. Mustafa Al-Salih has replaced Snellingen as our go-to guy. Let's go ahead and sub Bergam. 8.5 rating. He's tired. Let's bring him off. Mustafa Al-Salih. Lovas! 5-1. You know, we did something like this last season at the start of the year, and it really got our year off to a good start. Peña found Bergam. Bergam gets Lovas running across his man. Defense just not reading that. We have been doing that all game long, and their defense much too wide, not helping each other, not anticipating those runs, allowing them to happen. Into stoppage time, last few seconds here. 6 goals today. We gave up the first, but we claimed the next 5. Great win to open the season. It's only 3 points. We've got a long ways to go, but what a fantastic start to our year. I'm going to push forward a couple of games and show you our probable exit from the League Cup. Our first round, but technically the third round of the League Cup is underway, and we are on the road at second tier and second squad. Oh gosh, what's their name? It's something complex. We actually started off fairly close there. That was good, but anyway, seemed harsh, but okay. Well, anyway, we're up against a pretty challenging situation where we very well could go out in our first match played here in this competition. Now, here's the scenario for the competition breakdown and kind of how we're finding ourselves in this situation already. Because all these seasons, we didn't have the League Cup. In fact, our very first appearance was last season. It shouldn't have been. It should have been our second appearance, but here's why it wasn't. So the way this cup is set up, it's actually super easy. Like the English FA Cup, oh my gosh, that thing is so complex. Lovas, pulls it back. Bergam! Yeah, what? We lead 1-0 right on the 10th minute. That was a couple seconds shy of the 10th minute, turning into the 11th. But yeah, Lovas, I thought when he pulled back that just screwed us over, but Bergam, nice one. Defense that looked like it might have gone right through the legs there, and the keeper gets a hand to it, but not enough to shove it away. And wow, at the moment at least, we lead. Anyway, the way this cup is organized, like I said, is so simple in comparison to something massive like the FA Cup that really, really goes down to the lower leagues to get teams involved. This one, it starts a lot higher. 5th division, 5th tier is the beginning point. And not all of the 5th tier is involved. Now, I'm not sure what the cutoff, I don't know how many teams, I don't know what percentage of the 5th tier it is. I'm assuming it's majority of the 5th tier, but they cut it off at some point in terms of your standing and getting a spot. As we go up by 2 with Bergam. Holy crap, he's already got a brace, and we are leading. It's not even 15 minutes into this game. Ostby lays that off for Norheim, who was playing inside here. Lovas, Bergam 1-2, and Bergam 1-on-1 with the keeper. Last time went right, this time goes left, and both times puts it in the back of the net. Oh my goodness. All right, so not all of the 5th tier teams get in. So when we were newly promoted to the 5th tier, we did not get an invite to the League Cup. But then we won the division and got promoted to the 4th tier. So that next season, yeah, we would have been in. But now all of a sudden we were already a 4th tier team. Norheim gets a chance. He goes close. Just a little too high on that one. Aimed for the upper corner. Keeper might have had that covered anyway. Looked to be making a pretty good save there. So our first appearance last year was from the 4th division. Now the 5th and 4th divisions, right? All of the 4th division teams plus whatever percentage of 5th tier teams that do get called into the League Cup, they all enter in the first round, and they play each other for 2 rounds, and then in the third round we have the next set of call-ups. And the next set of call-ups, and this is why I said this is so simple compared to like the English FA Cup as the obvious example that most people would be familiar with. The top 3 tiers, so those 60 teams, all enter in the third round. That's it. It's that simple. So tiers 1 through 3 enter in the third round. Tiers 4 and most of tier 5 begin in round number 1. And that's it. Single elimination. Champion comes out of that thing. So we made it into the 4th tier last season. We did pretty good. We got into the 4th tier. This year, though, we're starting in the 3rd tier, and I did not like our chances of getting beyond our first match because our first round draw, right, with the addition of the top 2 tiers and our tier, we had a tough draw away at a 2nd tier side, and yet somehow it's been all us here in the first half. XG deserving of the first goal, not quite equivalent to the second that we've already put in, but the percentage possession already at 60%. Both clubs with 7 fouls, 1 yellow card each, 2 corners that we've had. The big difference is we're translating our possession into chances. 9 shots to their 3. Both pretty similar in terms of conversion rate on getting those on target, but we've put 2 out of our 4 on target in the back of the net, and it's been Bergam, right? All Bergam. He's got an 8.5 rating right now, and we have played so well. All right, Osby is the one on yellow. Obviously, we want to be careful that he does not get sent off, so we'll keep an eye out for any fouls. I have never seen Osby sent off, so I don't think he's high risk for that, and there's been plenty of times where we had a tight contest that I kept him on because, you know, it's our best player. It's our best player, and we are so much better with him on the pitch than we are with him off. I almost never sub him, even when he's on a yellow, even when he is more fatigued than others around him. Offside, flag is up. Back in, oh yeah, he's definitely off here. He's a good 2 yards off there, at least 1.5 yards anyway. Dangerous ball there. Sabani, right on the goal line, grabs that thing that was drilled across there. That's the kind that you see in indoor. Bang off the wall and then bang off the keeper and end up going in. Fantastic. Now this is a amazing ball over the top, but that really came down to Bergam. He had so much work to do. He lays it off for Al, and then Al just takes the space that they give to him. 53 minutes played with a 3-goal lead, and that was rightfully onside. That was well timed. Good call on keeping the flag down there. So that was definitely a dangerous play for them. But anyway, Ostby with a 3-goal lead. I feel more confident about subbing him out, but not right now. Not with 40 minutes to play or 35 minutes to play. That's still a bit too long. But subbing him out with 20-25 minutes to go, if it's still 3-0, if they're not just hammering the ball towards our net over and over again, which they're starting to do a little bit. Big save there from Sabani and big help from the defense to then clear it away. Lavas looked to be through, but Norheim held on to it that little bit longer, continued to dribble. Eventually the defense gets a foot in there. We've only had 1 shot on target here in the second half as we've now exceeded the hour mark. Still leading. Give that one away though. Let's go ahead and go balanced at this point. We don't need to be overly aggressive with the ball. Let's try to get some guys behind it a little bit more, as they are definitely getting more optimistic with their own play. Calzi is struggling. Let's go ahead and bring on Pena. And now we're at the point where we can bring off Ostby as well. Itervik is the other guy who could play center mid, so we'll bring him on. That's a more defensive player anyway, so that's probably a good thing. And I think we are far enough along to start doing a little bit of time wasting. 3-goal lead. I'm not that confident against a second-tier side to say, oh yeah, we got this. We don't need to time waste. We won't time waste bad with a 3-goal lead. We'll waste a little bit of time. Intervic! They invite him into a space. That was very much tactically, we don't need to close this guy down. He's not going to do anything. And gave the shot to him. There's been tons of times as a defender that I'm like, oh, you got the ball? Yeah. Here you go. Come on up. You want to shoot? Go for it. That ball just wide from Larson. Nearly gets one on the board for them, but still can't manage to do it. Al, very, very tired. And we've got guys who are very much in need of a rest, and we got a match in a couple of days. So this is not a great time for them to be crazy exhausted trying to keep up with this tier 2 side. But we've beaten them handily. 3-0. Dang, is this a product of how good we are, how good our tactics are? Or is this a product of how familiar our team is with one another? That they come into the season prepped and they hit the ground running. Where a lot of the other teams have personnel changes, have tactical changes, have coaching changes, and they have to go through that period of warming up, right? Preparing themselves into the season, getting into a groove. Either way, we have made it to the 4th round for the 2nd year in a row in the League Cup. This year, of course, starting from the 3rd round, so it's only our 2nd year in the competition. We've already skipped 2 rounds. That's how crazy that is, our rapid progression up the ladder. Good start to the season, 1 win, 1 loss in the league, and this. How will the league go, though? I mean, we've already had 1 win, 1 loss. If we're keeping that sort of rate, though, we're about 500 mid-table, I'd be happy. I think that's probably a good outcome for this season. But to find out how we progress, you have to tune in next time, because that's going to do it for this one. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.